Good evening, all, and welcome to another segment of Thriving Together. I do want to share that tonight's segment has been pre recorded due to being out of town, but I want to make sure that I am consistent, bringing you new topics each and every week that help you to thrive, whether it's in your personal or your professional lives. And I'm excited this evening to have Derek McCord with me from MassMutual. Hi, Derek.
Hi. Glad to be here with you.
Thank you so much for being with me. I actually met Derek at a main meeting. He was a sponsor for the North Carolina Real Estate Investors Association and was one of our vendors that evening. We had a quick conversation in regards to what he does and retirement. And I quickly thought, this is information that I've got to get out so that people can retire confidently and really protect their futures. So thank you for being a part of the conversation.
It's my pleasure. Glad to be here.
So if you would take a moment just to introduce yourself,
Yeah,
further
absolutely.
introduce yourself.
Yes. So, like LaRonda said, my name is Derek McCord. I am with MassMutual. I'm part of financial planning practice there, and it's exactly like what it sounds. We help folks with financial planning. A big part of that is retirement. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to talk about that today. But yeah, it's helping people really organize their financial lives and make sure that they're going to hit those milestones and those goals that they have, especially
Mhm.
for the future,
Mhm.
and also take care of the what ifs in life so that that future can become a reality, even if something kind of goes sideways. And
Right.
so that's kind of in a nutshell what we do. But
Mhm.
retirement is a big part of that.
Okay. Now, oftentimes when people think of retirement, they're thinking, oh, I've got plenty of time to do that. But they really don't think about preparing for that time in the future. There's some planning that's involved. So I've been coming to grips with the fact I'll be 49 on Monday, 50 next year. So hopefully retirement is not that far off from me. Let's say I'm just starting now. Is that
Yeah.
a bad thing? What would you do with a person like me?
Surprisingly, we run into folks in your situation a lot more than you would think.
Mhm.
And I often have clients come to me and say, well, oh gosh, I wish I would have done this sooner, or I feel so unprepared. And you're not alone. A lot of
Mhm.
folks come to us in that position, but it's never too late to start. There's a lot of things we can do to hopefully fix situations where somebody's not as prepared as they need to be.
Mhm.
But the important thing is just start, just get started.
So I shouldn't be scared or ashamed to give you a call and set up that initial
Not at
meeting
all.
at this point.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. There's nothing you're going to tell us or something you're going to show with your about your financial life that we haven't already seen or probably encountered.
So tell folks about retirement planning. What does that entail? What can they expect when they place that first phone call with you?
Yeah. I think a lot of people they're putting money aside somewhere, right?
Mhm.
And I can say for myself, I used to be in that boat before getting into this business that I was putting money away, but nobody ever
Mhm.
really talked to me about how much I was putting away, where I was putting it at, how it was invested, and what my goals were for the future, to
Mhm.
make sure that I was doing what I needed to get there.
Right.
And so I think a lot of folks are in the same boat where they are putting money away, which is a great thing to do, but they
Mhm.
don't really have a target in mind. And
Mhm.
so they're just doing things, and there's no real goal at the end of that. And like I said before, we find a lot of clients come to us in that situation, and we start going through it. We do an analysis, and they realize, oh wow, I wasn't doing as much as I needed to, or I wasn't
Mhm.
really putting it in the right places. And so that's where we come in and help give order and help people think about what that end goal is. How much do
Mhm.
you want to retire with? What kind of income do you want? You know what kind of income you want now because you know your current lifestyle.
Right.
People don't take the time to think about what they want for their future lifestyle and what that's supposed to
Right.
look like, and how much
Mhm.
they're going to need to actually fund that. And are
Mm-hmm.
they doing now what they need to be able to fund that then?
Because later on, in retirement, best case scenario, right now, we don't know what. I guess we have an idea what we want that lifestyle to be, but that lifestyle is very different because right now work consumes our days.
Right.
So the time in which we're living is a little less. Well, in
Right.
retirement, you want to live more. How do we make that transition or plan for that transition?
We have a lot of conversations around what that future lifestyle, what they want it to look like. And
Mm-hmm.
then talking about, okay, what do you think that's going to cost? We have an idea of what our current lifestyle costs, but a lot of people want to travel, they want to spend time with grandkids, maybe, or doing things that they didn't have time to do while they were in their working years.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as people think, well, my lifestyle is probably going to cost less,
Mm-hmm.
it probably isn't going to. And so the chances that you're going to spend less money in retirement, especially the early years when you are hopefully healthy enough to be able to do things,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably going to be as much, if not more. And so you have to really plan for that and make sure you have enough money socked away in the right places,
Right.
and really be strategic about it to make sure that that happens in a thoughtful way, and also a tax efficient way.
Okay. So what could that, I guess, give an example of that? Like when I come in and I'm chatting with you, my husband and I, are we creating a portfolio? Is that stocks or what does that look like for an individual?
Sure. I'll kind of give an example of what we typically see, and
Mm-hmm.
and then hopefully we can get into some of the pitfalls that people fall into.
Okay.
um, Typically, we have a client come to us. Let's say it's a dual income household, and
Mm-hmm.
they both work their W-2 job. They're putting money in their 401ks,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully they're getting a match or something like that. But typically, they're not putting enough away,
Mm-hmm.
because they're spending a lot on their current lifestyle, and so they're
Right.
not putting enough away, or maybe they are putting a lot away, but it's all going into that 401k. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so that kind of brings up the topic of one of the risks that we help people avoid, and that is the tax rate risk. So right now we're in an environment where our income taxes are at the lowest in history, and
Mm.
most people don't know that. But the current tax plan is set to sunset in 2026, and so if
Really?
the government doesn't do anything, our taxes are going to go up in the next couple of years. And
Mm.
so a lot of conversation we have is, what do you think taxes are going to be in the future,
Mm-hmm.
given our current debt as a country, uh,
Right.
all the things that are happening? It's likely that taxes are probably going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not to historical record highs, but it's likely that they're going to go up somewhat. And
Right.
so we're all putting our money into 401ks, which is a tax advantage now because you're putting
Mm-hmm.
pre-tax money in, but all the growth and everything, when that sum is the largest, is when you're going to get taxed on it.
Mm.
And
Got
so then you combine that with any other income that you have, and now all of your income is taxable. And there's vehicles out there that allow for some tax-free money. Some
Mm-hmm.
people are familiar with a Roth,
We
but
like
most are
free
not
money.
contributing to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we even that our employers have a Roth 401k available to us,
Mm-hmm.
but people don't participate in it because they don't really understand it.
Right.
A Roth allows you to put money away, grow tax-free, and take it out tax-free. And so tax diversification is a big one that we kind of hone in on. So not so much just that you have enough put away, but where is it? What's that going to look like when it comes out? So we're
Mm-hmm.
looking at not only what you're doing now, but what does that look like in the future when you go to take those distributions? Because that's really what we're saving for, right? So that
Right.
someday we can take it out. That's my
Right.
job, is to help you one day take that money back out,
Right.
that's yours, and use it to do what you want to do. And so
Mm-hmm.
we have to look at all the different risks there are to that, and make
Mm-hmm.
sure that we are accounting for that and planning around it.
So you were saying, so again, a lot of people think, okay, I'm supposed to save money, have a savings account, so I'll save money here. Then you have some people that don't even put it in a bank. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
But then you started talking about where the money should go. So what should we be doing with our savings? What are some ideas of where it should be going? You mentioned Roth. Anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah. I think it's different for every person.
Mm-hmm.
I meet a lot of folks with the North Carolina Real Estate Investors Association where real estate investing is a big part of what they want in their portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to customize what that looks like and that planning strategy around some of what the client wants, right? Because you
Right.
want to do what you want to do, but also we're there to give the advice and help point you in the right direction. So if you want real estate to be part of your portfolio, that's phenomenal. I want real estate to be part of my portfolio as well. But
Mm-hmm.
we meet a lot of people where that's the only thing they're banking on,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not very well diversified. So our job is to come in and help you make sure that your portfolio is diversified
Mm-hmm.
from an investment standpoint, but also from like I said, a tax standpoint. What's that going to look like in the future? Because rental income from real estate investments is all taxable. So
Mm-hmm.
what are we doing now to diversify your money, but also when you go to take it out to make sure that your tax bill isn't too high? Because most people think that maybe they'll be in a lower tax bracket when they get to retirement.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, hopefully your house is paid off. Kids are probably out of the house, right? So all these
Mm-hmm.
deductions that we get now are probably not going to be there in retirement. And so
Right.
we have to think about that, what kind of tax bracket we're going to be in. So there's
Right.
a lot of planning, a lot of strategy that goes around that most people don't ever take care of if they're not working with somebody like us.
Well, even now, because like some years ago, our 529 account was a deduction.
Yeah,
Well, it changed and it's no longer a deduction. So it's really not getting ready for retirement is not just planning for that, but there are just things that you could be doing as a savings to yourself, putting yourself in best case scenario, even now,
yeah,
moving forward.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, being tax efficient now, but also in the future.
What even got you into this line of, I'll say, this industry and supporting people in the way in which you do?
I'm glad you asked that. So I'll say that I believe that God led me into this industry. I
Hmm.
was actually in the automotive business for 17 years, uh,
Okay.
and I stayed in it for so long because I love helping people.
Yeah.
That's really why I do what I do now. Uh,
Hmm.
and I helped them, make sure their car was fixed. I was managing service departments, and I felt the Lord leading me away from that. I wanted to spend more time with my family. It was a lot of hours, a lot of stress, and
Yeah.
so I left that business thinking I was going to go into IT, and He led me into this business instead. And
Hmm.
I'm so grateful that He did, because I just love working with people and seeing the peace of mind that they have once we put a
Hmm.
plan in place and we give them a
Right.
strategy, and they
Right.
can see that their goals for the future are attainable if they just follow the advice that we give them and
Mhm.
do some really smart things with their money.
Yeah, I bet it is rewarding. It's the same thing with me. I was in nonprofit, shoot, almost 18 years or 19 years.
Yeah,
And then trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to be when I grow up? What am I going to shift and continue working with
yeah,
people? And that led me into the real estate industry. So
yeah.
it's been a great ride. It really has. So if you think of why you got into the field, and like you said, seeing the sense of relief on people, think about, of course, respecting folks' privacy. Is there that one family or individual that you helped to get them on track for retirement? Does anything come to mind?
Um, yes, actually, well, multiple people. It's hard to pick one. Um, there's one lady in particular that comes to mind, and it wasn't just about helping her for retirement, but it was
Mhm.
helping protect her family. And she and I started working together, and we go through somebody's financials, so we're going through all their whole financial life,
Yeah,
and it's uncomfortable at first, but people, as the
it
process
is.
goes on,
You
people
see the good, bad, and ugly when we open up are so
Yeah.
sweet. I think
Sometimes
that's
I like
what
to
makes
hide things. I'm
people,
like, listen, there's no judgment here. Just
yeah.
lay it all out on the table. I need to know what we're working with. And
Hmm.
in doing that, we uncovered some gaps as far as covering her family for protection stuff. And she was just so grateful at the end of that. She said, "Thank you so much for helping me with this," because now she had peace of mind that her family was covered. And she has now a way to budget. And in
Hmm.
about a year, we're going to get back together and start looking at retirement and planning for investing and things like that.
Wow.
Um, there's another couple that I can think of recently that we worked with, and really just your average couple. And
Hmm.
it was great to be able to put the plan together and show them that they were actually on a good track for retirement and that they were going to be able to achieve what they wanted to achieve. And
Hmm.
to just be there with them, and they had a son that's 6 months old,
Hmm.
and so they're putting a 529 in place and doing these different things, and just to get to see the kind of the peace of mind that came over them, that we were helping them and that they were actually on track to where they wanted to be. I just love that part. It's my favorite.
Oh yeah. Now, and now is there a certain level of income a person has to be at in order to work with you, to come to you?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I would say typically we work with folks, that are in the $100,000 range or more,
Okay.
just because some of the planning fees that go into it, and also then the implementation of certain strategies are going to
Hmm.
require some money to be put aside.
Okay.
We ask people, what do you have in your budget to put aside every month for your goals? Uh,
Hmm.
and then that helps us determine how we're going to be able to help them. So not that we can't help people, below that threshold. Like I said, the lady I was just talking about, I was able to help her, and she was well below that threshold. Uh,
Hmm.
so it just depends on where people are at and how tight their finances are. If they have money to put aside, if they don't have any money to put aside on a monthly basis, it's going to be
Hmm.
really tough for me. I can put a plan together, but you're not
Right.
going to be able to implement some of the things unless you're willing to kind of move money around to different places for different
Right.
goals. So yeah, the 100,000 plus range is typically the spot where we're able to start helping people, and they're able to afford our services and to be able to put that money aside.
And you mentioned in terms of fees and implementation, what could you go into a little bit more detail about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the planning process, it does take time, and it does take significant time on our part, but also then meeting with folks on multiple occasions to go through gathering information, talking about some gaps that we see, strategizing, and then ultimately bringing recommendations to the table. And then there's really the end part of the most valuable part is the ongoing advice. And
Hmm.
so when somebody pays that fee for financial planning, yes, we're putting a plan together, but it's really the ongoing advice where the real value comes in, because
Hmm.
it allows them to call us up and say, "Hey, Derek, this is happening. I want to buy this property, or we just had another baby. How's that going to impact my financial plan?" And we can go into the software and actually in real time take a look at what that's going to mean for them, and maybe restructure or re-strategize that plan to make sure that it's still going to work, or change things around as we need to.
Hmm.
So yeah, planning fees. My minimum fee starts around $2,400,
Hmm. Okay.
um, and it just depends on the complexity of the case.
Gotcha.
If people have multiple businesses, and it just gets more complex, more things that we need to incorporate. So it goes up
Yeah,
from
I
there.
imagine so. If you're working with people with NCREA, then they do have a lot of complexities.
Yeah, it can get very complex. Multiple properties, multiple rentals, flips, different streams of income.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things that go into that. We have some great software that we use to work with folks and project out, the likelihood
Hmm.
is that they're going to succeed and achieve the goals that they set out on.
But I just want to point out something else that you said too. It's not really a set it and forget it. You come in and you establish a plan, but as your life changes or things happen or your family grows, and you can kind of make some shifts, changes to fit your lifestyle or your family on down the road.
Exactly. It is an ongoing relationship. Our goal is always to not only just start working with somebody, but to continue working with them, throughout their life until they, even through when they hit retirement. They're still strategizing, and things that change, things that come up in life that we have to plan for and strategize around, or maybe shift course. And
Right.
so it's an ongoing relationship. It's something that we like to renew on an annual basis and continue working with folks, because things change and you have to be able to work with somebody around those changes, update the plan on an annual basis at least. When somebody engages with us in a fee-based plan, we're doing quarterly touch points. We're keeping in touch with them. And obviously if something changes in the meantime, then they can call us. But it's an ongoing relationship year after year that continues to renew.
Okay. Now you said retirement is a big part of what you do. So what are the other parts of you then?
I'm great. I'm glad you asked. So yeah, retirement's obviously the biggest, because it's the
Yeah.
biggest thing we have to plan for later on.
Mhm.
Saving for child savings plan. So whether that's college or just putting money aside for that child, maybe for their first house, for a wedding, helping people budget.
Mhm.
You'd be surprised how many people come to us without a budget, or maybe not be
Mhm.
surprised. Most people come to us without a real budget in place. And so we do everything from that foundational piece of helping them budget and really see where all their money is going. And if they
Mhm.
need to reallocate money to different places, helping them understand what the benefit that's going to be. So starting
Mhm.
from something as foundational as budgeting to college savings, tax planning. We work with a lot of business owners, uh,
Right.
so that can get very complex as far as the business also being tied to their personal finances, and doing planning around that, especially when it comes to taxes. How do we
Mhm.
save as much as we can on taxes right now with the income we have coming in through our business? Business owners have a lot of opportunities to save in that area.
Right.
So
But
helping
then they
them.
have to be careful too when it comes to the taxes, because we, again, for privacy sakes, we had a client that was ready to purchase, but they did not was not showing enough income to qualify
Mm,
for a loan because of the way in which they had done their taxes.
yeah.
So they have, a person has to be careful even with that. You could
Yep.
have a profitable business, but it looks like it's not profitable at all.
Yeah, we have definitely encountered that, where clients are trying to pay as little taxes as possible and write everything off, but then
Yeah.
they don't show enough income to do things like you said, like buy a house or buy property or something like that.
Mhm.
So that also plays into the goal conversation that we have. What are your goals? Oh, I want to buy a house in 5 years. Okay, well, you're a business owner. What are you doing? What kind of income are you showing? We can
Mhm.
give advice on what you should be doing so that you can then take care of that goal later on. So there's so many different things that we incorporate into those conversations.
Mhm.
Short-term, mid-term, long-term goals, and all the strategizing that goes around that. Typically,
Mhm.
it's too much for somebody to really think about in the midst of working or running their business or whatever it is. And so we come alongside them as a partner and give them, kind of hold their hand through that process and give them advice so that they are doing all the right things to achieve those goals that they have. And
That's a
then they
good
don't have
one.
to think about it so much or research it or get all the knowledge. They can rely on our expertise, and it's what we do every day.
Speaking of research,
Yeah.
so when you have people come in and you're talking to folks, or you're even scrolling through social media, has there been anything that you've come across on TikTok or Instagram that just made you cringe? It's like, oh no, not that.
Um, Gosh, yeah, there's probably too many things that I've run across in just my career with it, but also in talking to people. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
Hmm.
There's also a lot of great information, but when you just take pieces of great information and try and
Right.
implement it without really thinking about the whole picture, is when we
Hmm.
sometimes get into trouble. Um, I am a I'm a Dave Ramsey fan when it comes to budgeting and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to long-term picture and investing and stuff, I think there's different areas that we can do. We can do different things. There's different tools that we can use.
Mm-hmm.
That if you just go on Google and search for it, or TikTok or whatever, you're going to get different people's opinions.
Right.
But everybody's situation is different.
Right.
And so you can't just cherry pick ideas and plug it into your financial situation and think that it's going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not. And so our job is to come in and kind of help you pick through all the information and give you the best information to work with so you can make good decisions, good financial decisions.
Yeah, when it's like with anything, especially medical, when I feel something, I try not to go to Dr. Google because Dr. Google can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's a lot of information out there, and depending on your level of knowledge and experience, you may not be able to decipher between what's the good information or what's the misinformation. So it's
Right.
great to have a partner that kind of walks through that with you.
Yeah, because you can find great information and or someone saying this is a great thing and someone saying this is a terrible thing on the exact
Mhm.
same subject, and it just
Right.
depends on their perspective and
Mhm.
sometimes their knowledge or lack of knowledge on that particular subject. And
Mhm.
so you really have to understand the different concepts and the different products to be able to know, does this fit my situation? And if so, how is it going to work for me?
Right. Now, I would, in terms of think about, I don't know, advice. If you could give any words of wisdom to anyone, what would be your words of wisdom that you would share?
Um, I would say don't wait.
Mhm.
I think getting our financial lives in order is always somewhere somewhere on somebody's top 10 list of priorities to do. But I
Right.
think most often it falls. There's always those competing priorities that continue to take the number one, number two, number three, number four, number five spots, and
Mhm.
planning our financial lives typically falls towards the bottom. We'll see something on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and we'll try and I got to do that. Or I've
Mhm.
run into clients where they do this and then they do that. And I saw this on Facebook, and so I'm going to do this. And so they start going in all these different directions, but they really
Mhm.
don't have a plan to put it all together or even know if those things are the best thing for them. And so
Mhm.
I would say, don't keep putting that off. Work
Yeah.
with somebody, whether it's me or anybody else, I don't care. Work with somebody that's going to help you through that and give you a plan to really put the different pieces of your financial life together.
Mhm.
Keep waiting on it,
Right.
because it's the procrastination that gets you to 50, 55, 60. And there's only so much we can do at that point when somebody comes to us. We can try
Mhm.
to help them best we can, but often there's no going back and changing things that needed to be changed. So
Right.
don't put it off. Work with somebody. Get your financial life in order. It will give you peace of mind and really help you retire with confidence.
Mhm. And go ahead and put it on the to-do list. A lot of
Yes.
people time block. A lot of people write to-do lists, or as we learned last week from Joel, the got to list. These are things I've got to do before the end of the day.
Yeah.
And make a call to Derek. Make a call for your future, a part of that. And I say that because think about times where you've had an email conversation or a text conversation, feels like that conversation just happened. And have you ever gone back to it and realized, oh my gosh, that was a month ago?
Yeah.
Or you and a friend or someone talked about doing coffee, and you go back to plan for that coffee and realize how long it's been.
Yeah.
Time truly just seems like it passed so quickly. So you
Yeah.
have to be intentional about it and make it a part of your time blocking. Put it on your calendar, set an alarm, whatever you have to do to go ahead and make it happen, because tomorrow could turn around and be a few years later before you know it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not as complicated as folks think that it might be, because
Mhm.
really we're doing the heavy lifting. Really, all the client has to do is make sure that they get us the information that we can work with, so that
Mhm.
we can help them strategize and plan for the future. There's a few meetings in there in the very beginning, I guess would say the most work, but it's not really work. It's just getting us documentation and having that conversation about what they want to do for their future, what goals they have, and things like that. So it's not really work per se, but I haven't had a client yet where even as early as when we're gathering the information and having that meeting, and I ask them, have you found value in this process? And unequivocally, they say, absolutely. This has been one of the best things I've ever done. I've been meaning to do this for so long. I'm so glad that we got together. I'm so glad I called you. Because even just in that meeting, which is really the beginning stages, we haven't even strategized or come to recommendations yet.
Right.
They feel like they're looking at all the pieces of their financial life that they've been meaning to look at, and they just haven't done it. And so making that first phone call to us or whoever it is, making that first phone call is that first step. And we'll kind of drive the conversation from there and point you in the right direction, set up the meetings, tell you what we need from you. In this day and age with technology, it's so easy to upload documents and things like that. It's really not that hard to get us the information that we need. It just takes a little bit of time that people have probably been meaning to spend anyway.
Needs
kind of forced to when they start working with us because they know there's an end result coming. Versus I should look at this, but they don't really know what's going to come out of it.
Right.
So when you work with us, you know what's going to come out of it. You are going to have a plan in place. You are going to have peace of mind that you're moving in the right direction and that you can hopefully pull the trigger on the things that you need to do.
And you said bring the information, provide you with all the documentation. That means also being honest and giving you all the information.
Yes, it does not help us. We've had people, that, oh yeah, I did have, we're halfway through the process, and oh yeah, I did have this account over here, and it's like that changes everything.
Everything.
They're hesitant to give us all the information up front. It's all confidential. We're not going to share your information with anybody. It's going to stay within our team and even within just a couple people that are working with it. And you don't have to worry about there being any judgment on, a credit card debt that you have or something like that. We just need all the information so that we know what we're working with and we can give you sound advice on what to do.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, like with lenders, when they pull information, whether you tell them or not, it's going to be what has been covered or not shared is going to be found. You don't have that liberty, do you? You really are going to have to rely on what they are sharing with you to give you a full picture and create a plan for them, that works for them. So really the transparency is crucial in order for the plan that you create to work.
Yeah, it really, really is. And I think once people realize that, we're there to help and we start building that trust and that relationship with them, then they open up and there's no hesitation after that. But yeah, just go into it without the hesitation. We're here to help. You wouldn't be paying us if we weren't here to help you. So just get all the information out there. We're going to dissect it and help you know what you need to do.
I know this past Saturday, the Triangle Wealthy Group, we had an event that was about preparing for the future. And in that particular event, it was about long-term care and establishing trust. Yeah. Does MassMutual do you help people establish trust, or do you just refer that out? How does that work?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So we're not attorneys, so we don't develop trusts or write documents or do anything like that as far as a trust goes. The work that we do does play a big part into estate planning, because obviously that has to do with your finances. Right. Aside from all the medical stuff, where does your money going to go? How strategic are you being about where it's going to go? What's going to happen if you pass away? If you have little kids, how do you want that to be distributed? That's all going to be part of your estate planning with an attorney. But we need to work together with your estate planning attorney to make sure that your financial plan and your estate plan really work together and make sense together. So no, we don't do that. We do actually have a team at our home office that will review estate planning documents to
Okay.
make sure that things aren't missed,
Okay.
that is appropriate for your situation as we're going through the planning process. So, and they will do that as part of doing a financial plan with us. So that's just one of the benefit value adds that we have as far as a resource goes.
Okay. So I'm one of those people. If I, it's like I'll get ready to get ready. So I don't need to prepare, make anything look cute or anything. I just come as I am, as they say with church. Come as you are.
That's right.
You
That's right.
should.
It's just like that. Just come as you are. We're going to help you sort through that.
Okay.
You know, a lot of folks have debt repayment maybe is one of the things that they really want to get guidance on because they're paying off certain debts, but they may not be paying it off in the most efficient way possible. And so giving
Mhm.
insight on that, just come as you are, give us the information, let us analyze it and dissect it, and then we can give you advice from there. That's our job. That's why you're coming to us and paying for us. If you had to get everything neat and tidy before you came to us, there wouldn't really be a reason to come seek our help. So yeah, just come as you are, and let us help you.
I get to go have a friend of mine to where whenever she has a big event or something and she has people come over and do cleaning at the house, she's preparing and picking up things before the cleaners come. So that's why I'm like, do I need to prepare before, before
Yeah.
coming to you, make sure things are, look as good as possible.
Yes.
So we're getting close, surprisingly, in time. So I just want to make sure, is there anything that we didn't touch on that people should know? Or, why MassMutual? Why Derek McCord?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you asked that. I would say there's a lot of people out there that call themselves financial advisors or financial planners. It covers a vast array. There's organizations that just do the planning part, but they don't do the implementation or give you the specific recommendations. They're going to say, okay, here's your plan. Here's some of the things that you need to do, and then you have to go find the people to implement that.
Oh no, that's not me.
There's professionals out there and they do a great job at what they do. They call themselves financial advisors, but really they're just wealth managers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to help you with investments. Their goal is to get you the best return on your money,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. And you need that, but it doesn't really fall into a holistic financial plan.
Okay.
And then there's people that do the risk management side or protection planning. And that's all that they're doing, but they're not taking a look at the other side. And
Right.
so what I think makes us unique in the space is that we do all of that. So we do the risk management side, we do the wealth management. So we make sure that all those pieces really work together. Because if you do the wealth management, but you don't do any of the risk management like insurances or the strategic planning around where your investments are, anything that goes wrong is going to derail that future lifestyle specifically that you
Right.
are trying to plan for. And so we look at both sides of the scale and make sure that it's balanced, make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do to really be successful in your financial life. And I think that's what sets us apart. In addition to the vast amount of resources that we have, here in North Carolina, we've got our office in Raleigh. We've got our office in Charlotte that has protection planning teams, wealth management teams, specialists in those areas that come alongside the advisors and help them guide the clients with the right solutions. And then we also have our home office, which has a lot of very similar resources. And like I just said, we have the estate planning team that will look at estate planning documents for free as part of our financial planning. We have wealth management teams in the home office. We have protection planning teams in the home office that will strategize with us around, what's the right type of insurance, how to position that in their financial plan. So we have a lot of resources. There isn't anything that we can't do as far as a part of financial plan for somebody. We have business planning teams for those business owners that specialize when helping business owners that we can tap into when it comes to planning for those particular people. So we're not out here on an island helping people in a Raleigh office. We have a lot of resources that are behind the scenes helping us do what we do.
I love that because it allows you to service people holistically. They're not having to figure it out because if they come and get a piece from you, And I'm telling you, and then they have to figure things out for themselves. It's going to push that planning and the work of it on down the road even more.
Yeah, and I think more than ever, people want to simplify their lives. I think COVID did a lot for us in helping us see that I want to simplify my life, right? I want to take some of the complexity out of it. I want to be able to focus on the things that I want to focus on: my family, my time, getting my time back. And we do that by consolidating and working with, just particular people that are going to help us, hopefully help us with everything. And that's what we bring to the table, is that not only can we help you with the planning piece of it, looking at both sides of the scale, but then also help you with the implementation of it. And we can do it all in-house and help you with the whole thing. So you have one point of contact. You don't have to go to 5 different people. You can come to Derek. I'm like the quarterback. Al Sosa is one of my senior partners. So there's different people on our team, but you have one person you can go to and say, Derek, what do I do? This happened. My mother just went in the hospital and all this is happening. What do I do?
Right.
So different things that come up in life, you have somebody you can go to that knows your whole financial picture and can help you with it, instead of, oh crap, who do I need to call now? Help you in those events.
Well, Derek, thank you again so much for bringing this information to Thriving Together. I put your information on the screen so people know how to contact you. You have there his phone number, 919-737-2543, or his email address. So I encourage you to reach out to him, start the conversation to see how you can retire with confidence, but even more importantly, live with confidence. That's really what what retirement is all about. And as always, if you want to reach me and you're looking at adding some investment properties to your portfolio and having those stream of income for Derek to help you manage, you can reach me at 984-985-2330. And it'll be amazing to talk with you and help you on this journey. So, Derek, if you don't have any final words, I want to thank you.
Last thing I would say is what I like to say is we like to work with people that are serious about making responsible financial decisions. And so if you're not really serious about it, hold that phone call. Don't call us right away. But if you are serious about making those good financial decisions, please give us a call. If for some reason I'm not the person, I can get you in touch with somebody that maybe might work better with you. But I would love to help you and love to see you succeed in your financial journey.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
Loretta.
Well,
Thanks for
you
having
have
me.
a great evening. My pleasure. Thank you so much. I may have you visit again to have a part 2. And as always, I encourage everyone to come back next Thursday. We have another topic. See you soon.
Thanks.